I would like to speak to you today about the dangers of elderly drivers. Elderly drivers pose many risks due to their vision and their hearing deteriorating over time. Many elderly drivers tend to forget where they're going or how they're going to get there if they veer off of their chosen route. Now, I know we have all been stuck behind the little old lady who can barely see over the steering wheel, going 25 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. And we all wait and wait to finally get our turn to zip to the next lane and zoom right past her. Many of us shooting her dirty looks or even making rude comments. Fingers, it happens. What makes her an unsafe driver? It's not necessarily her age, but her abilities. Senior drivers are increasing in numbers, and due to this, they are also increasing the amount of accidents that are on a daily basis. They don't always cause the accidents, but they are involved in many accidents. Some of these accidents not only injure the senior citizens, but the other people that were involved. Many of these accidents take the senior citizens' lives due to the fragile state of their bones and their internal systems. Medical conditions have a big role to play in considering senior citizen drivers. Those with heart disease or diabetes, epilepsy, or prone to seizures, they can go into an attack or in a fit at any given time. One of my neighbors across the street has seizures, and just last summer she hit not one, not two, but 3 telephone poles right after she had a seizure going 45 miles an hour down Mercury Boulevard. Thankfully, she did not hurt anyone, and her herself is not injured. She still to this day will not drive. It scares her. She made the choice of I don't want to drive anymore before the doctor even told her that he wasn't comfortable giving her her license back. So she made the decision herself to stop driving. But not many senior citizens will make that decision. They will fight to keep their license because they don't want to lose their sense of freedom. They don't want to lose their ability to come and go as they please, not when somebody can find the time to come pick them up or when the bus runs, if they live near a bus route. Elderly drivers account for more than 65% of drivers nationwide here in the United States. In Michigan, in 2009, of 7.1 million registered drivers in Michigan alone, over 5 million were above the age of 65. Of those 5 million, 242 people were over the age of 100 and were still driving the roads. That's a scary thought for me. Now, not to say these people can't drive, maybe their ability is just as good as mine, if not better. But it makes me nervous to know that there's a 100-year-old person on the road still physically driving. How good is their vision? How much can they hear? How well can they focus on the task at hand? Not only paying attention to where you're going and how fast you're going, but who's around you and what's going on. It's a serious concern for me. Now, not all elderly drivers are dangerous, and many of them do not intend to be dangerous. It just happens to play out like that. Medical conditions play a big role in their ability to be able to drive. But not every elderly driver has health conditions or medical concerns that would impose on them driving. Many of their medicines affect their driving ability, whether the elderly person is aware of it or not. Some of the combinations of medicine they're given have bad driving reactions that will lessen their reaction time, or even keep them from being able to completely focus on what they are doing or where they're going. I suggest that we need to implement a yearly or a bi-yearly testing system for anyone over the age of 65 who wants to drive. As long as you can pass a hearing test, a vision test, a mental cognition test, and an on-the-road test every year, then you will be given driving privileges. But these privileges can be reviewed at any time due to accidents or get pulled over and the cop suspects that maybe you're not a safe driver anymore. Then they can go up for review and you'll have to take all the tests again. Now, if you do not pass these tests, you do not get your driver's license back. You are now on public transportations or asking rides from family. Now, I know that this is inconvenient for many families with their busy schedules and the kids' many activities. However, for the safety of not only their elders, but also everyone else on the road, implementing this yearly testing system for those over the age of 65 would significantly cut down the number of not only accidents that the elderly are involved in, but also the amount of elderly casualties from being in an accident. The accident may not have been bad enough to total either car involved, but just the force of that elderly person slamming against the seatbelt is enough to throw their heart into arrhythmia and give them a heart attack. So it wasn't necessarily the accident that killed them, but a medical condition. But the accident led to the medical condition, where had that person not been driving and had not hit the car in front of them to get thrown into their seatbelt, they wouldn't have suffered the heart attack. Now, nobody wants to take grandma's keys away. Nobody wants to take away her freedom. Nobody wants to make her feel like she's not worth anything. However, for her safety, sometimes it's the best thing we can do. The tests that are given for the yearly driving tests will ensure that each individual person is capable of handling the responsibility of driving a motor vehicle. Many elderly drivers still feel that they are competent drivers even when they are far from it. There are many things we can do right now to curb the dangers of elderly drivers, such as the warning signs to look for. A lack of an ability to focus. If grandma goes to make a bowl of spaghetti and puts an empty bowl in the microwave, well, apparently she can't focus enough to make her lunch. Maybe she shouldn't be driving. If they forget things every time they walk into a room, or at mid-sentence they forget what they're talking with you about, maybe it's time to talk to the doctor and consider taking away those privileges. An increase in traffic tickets or almost accidents. Granted, they weren't an accident, but it almost was. It's time to take a look. It's never an easy decision to take away one's elder's car. However, it's the best thing we can do for not only them, but everyone else on the road.